Hello, 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 hello. All right, welcome to Monday, everybody. It is Monday. I start to a new week. And all right, I'm going to try to make this quick, right? Hope you had a great weekend. I had a fabulous weekend. It was absolutely beautiful here in Florida. And we are in February, and it was in the mid 70s this weekend. I actually spent some time at the beach this weekend, believe it or not. It's been really, really nice. So I'm loving it. But it's also a little weird, that it's February and it's 70, 75 degrees outside. So we really haven't had much of a winter here. All right, so let's talk. Let's have a chat. So today I want to talk about you making the decisions to live your life different so that you can see different results, right? Lately, I've been thinking a lot about what it takes for me personally, what it's going to take for me personally to get to the level that I want to get to in my business, right? And for me, I know and I've learned that a lot of that comes from me being able to learn from the best, and for me looking to and being mentored by people who are already at the place that I want to be, right? There's always going to be somebody who's a level ahead of you that you can look to for support, for inspiration, for the know-how, for the strategy to use, right? And so for me, I've been looking at that a lot to say, okay, what is it that I need to do to set my game up, right? And I learned a long time ago that if I wanted anything different in my life, that I was going to have to make the decision to do something different, right? I was going to have to get really specific and really intentional with what I was doing in my life in order for me to see the results that I was wanting to see, right? Now, it didn't come that way at first, it took me a minute to understand that I couldn't just live life by the seat of my pants and that things were just going to fall in place and that the right opportunities were going to show up and that the right people were going to show up. It didn't click for me at first early on, right? Because like most of I had this mindset of, okay, I go to school, I get my degree, I get 2 degrees, I get a job, and that career and that job would be what would sustain me for the rest of my life, right? But there was always this feeling, or the stirring, if you will, that was within me. I'm gonna hook my phone up. That wanted more, right? That wanted more out of my life. I wanted more of everything, and I still do. I wanted more income. I wanted more success. I wanted more freedom. I wanted more happiness. I wanted more of everything. And I knew that by solely focusing myself on a 9 to 5 wasn't going to get me there. So let me see if I can get my tripod real quick, y'all. Bear with me. I should have done this before. It canceled me. All right, I'm here. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. All right, awesome. I am all over the place with this one today, y'all. Uh-oh. Let me get it right. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna make this quick. All right, so I knew that my 9 to 5 was not going to be something that was going to get me everything that I wanted in life, right? And it just finally clicked for me. And so then I had to say to myself, well, I've always had this desire to be a millionaire, right? A multimillionaire. And I believe I'm on my way to that. I'm not a millionaire yet, but I'm on my way to that. But what I learned is that becoming a millionaire is not something that is, super, super difficult, or that is only set aside for certain people that were brought up a certain way or that do things a certain way. That a lot of it has really to do with your mindset and the work that you're willing to put in to becoming a millionaire, right? But there's also certain practices and habits that people who are millionaires and who are multimillionaires, there are certain habits that they embody. And so I started realizing that, okay, if I want that, then I'm going to have to start paying attention to what they're doing, to what they're not doing. When I started my business, I knew that I would need to get some coaching and I would need to get some guidance. And so I started investing in myself and in my business to be mentored by millionaires. And today I'm still mentored by millionaires because I know at some point I'm going to get there. So they're, you know, few levels above me, right? And so I know that I want to get there. And so I knew that I had to start figuring out, you know, what they do every day. What's their strategy? You know, how are they showing up in the world? Because I had to figure out who I needed to be, right? And so for you to decide to do life differently, I think number one, you have to decide who it is that you need to be to get what it is that you want, right? You need to decide who you need to be. And I'm taking notes because I'm going to leave these notes in the live stream. So who do you need to be to get where you want to be at, right? That's number one. And when you start figuring out who that person is that you need to be, you're going to figure that out through doing your research, through watching people, through following people, through reading, and through gaining knowledge. That's how you will figure that out. But you got to get really specific and really clear on who it is that you need to be, right? Because one thing I realized is I had gotten to a certain point in my life based up on how I was thinking, you know, 5 or 10 years prior, right? See, when you change your thinking today, that doesn't mean that, okay, everything is going to do a 360 today. When you change your thinking today, when you change your habits today, it actually affects, you know, your future days ahead of you. So at that time, I had gotten myself to where I was based upon the thinking and the wisdom that I had at that time, right? So a lot of us sometimes today want to change and we want to see immediate results based upon, you know, the things that we've been doing the past week, the past 2 weeks, the past month, the past 2 months, the past 3 months, when it takes some time for you to ingrain those habits and start acting and walking in that place of being who it is you want to be, right? And so it's always, you got to always be forward thinking. So first of all, you got to decide on who it is that you need to be, right? Now, I'm not saying that you have to change who you are. What I'm saying is when I say you have to decide who you're going to be, I'm saying you got to decide what characteristics and what habits that you have to embody as who you are to get to where you want to be, right? And the next thing you got to do is you have to show up. You got to show up for yourself. You got to show up for whatever it is that you're going after. So for me, you know, as you know, I get up every morning and I have what I call my morning routine, right? I get up early. I get up around 4 o'clock in the morning and I journal. I do some meditation. I pray. I definitely work out every morning. During the week, that is, I don't work out too much on the weekends, but working out, exercising is in my routine each morning. Visualization is in there sometimes. And, you know, reading, you know, I'll pick a book and I'll just kind of read a few for like 5 or 10 minutes, right? And so that's part of my routine. And that's something that for me is me showing up for me, because I'm preparing myself for the day ahead. I'm giving myself the space to really think about how I want my day to be so that I can be intentional about it and so that I can be on purpose with it, right? And so that I can prepare myself for what's ahead. I mean, you don't go into war without first preparing. You don't go take a test without first preparing. You don't go on an interview without preparing, right? So why do we start our day without preparing? So you've got to show up. And then you've got to also show up in the way that you need to show up for your business. And for me, I relate everything back to business because obviously I'm a business owner. And I know that in order for me to reach the people that I need to reach and for me to get my message out there, that I have to show up consistently every single day. Right? Now, showing up could be me doing a video. Showing up could be me, you know, writing a chapter in my book that I'm working on. It could be me posting something online. it could be several things, but you have to show up. You have to be willing to be seen. You have to be willing to be a little bit vulnerable to let people into what it is that you're doing, right? Especially if you're looking to start a business, especially if you're, I don't know, looking to clean up your finances and save some money and get out of debt, or even just to create a better life for yourself. You've got to allow yourself to be seen and put yourself out there so that you can get in return what it is that you're looking for, right? Because if you're not showing up, then nobody knows what you need, period. And that is, in my mind, I get the greatest reward when I show up, when I fully participate, when I get over the fear and do it anyways, right? I get past the whole thought process of what are people going to think about me, or are they going to get my message, or am I going to ramble the whole time, am I going to go for too long, those are thoughts that I just choose to acknowledge them, and I know that they're there, but I don't allow them to rule my day and make the decision for my day, right? So you have to show up. And which brings me to another point. I'm learning that you definitely have to show up when you don't want to. You're not going to feel like it. I used to be that person that would say, well, I will write in my journal, or I'll post something when I feel like it, when I get that inspiration to do it, right? But you're not always going to feel inspired, period. You're just not. So showing up also means showing up when you don't feel like it. There are times when I've been up working late on my business till about 12 or 12:30, and my alarm goes off at 4, and I don't want to get up. But I still do it because I'm focused on the results that I want to get, right? I want to do life differently because for several reasons, but I want to see different results in my own life, right? And I know that if I am going to coach and mentor you on something, I also have to be willing to do it myself. I can't tell you to do something and then I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I know that I have to be consistent. I know that I have to create habits that may be difficult or uncomfortable at first, but I've gotten comfortable with just being uncomfortable, right? It's not always going to feel good. Changing your life and elevating your life and shifting your mindset is not going to feel good, and you're going to be uncomfortable sometimes. But it's worth it when you can finally get to the end result that you're looking for, right? It's totally worth it. So you gotta be the person that you see yourself being 5 or 10 years from now. You've got to show up, be consistent, create habits, and do the work, right? The next thing is you've got to gain the appropriate knowledge, right, to change your perspective on things. When you're doing something new, when you're wanting to do life differently, you've got to get the knowledge that you need to do life different, right? Because your current thinking, your current way of thinking, your current mindset has gotten you to where you are thus far. And so if you want to get somewhere different than where you are now, then you've got to invest the time into gaining the knowledge that you need. You've got to make that investment in the courses, in the the classes, in the coach, in the mentor, in whatever it is that you need to get you the knowledge that you need to change your perspective, right? I mean, a year ago, I look back on where I was a year ago, and I have grown leaps and bounds, not because I just figured it out all out on my own. It was because I went out and I was seeking the knowledge. And then when I found people who I resonated with, who encouraged me, who inspired me, who empowered me, who were at a place that I wanted to be, either, mentally or in their business or wherever, I looked to them and I said, let me see what I can pull from them to help me incorporate in my life, right? And by doing that, it slowly changed my perspective on me as a woman, on my business, on all of that. It changed it. And so you've got to gain the knowledge that you need to change your perspective, right? Hey, whoever hopped on. The next thing that you want to do is you've got to focus, right? Focusing in my mind will pay you dividends if you will simply just do it, right? And what I mean by focus is you've got to get out of this habit of looking at how things seem to be around you and focusing on that and thinking, oh my God, like how am I ever going to get my life in order when everything in front of me is complete chaos? You know, we've got to stop focusing on the chaos, on the minutia. We've got to stop focusing on what's going on, you know, in the political world, what's going on in the news, you know, what your neighbor's doing, what your girlfriend's doing, you know, the things that your boss is doing to you. We've got to get out of that minutia and out of that crap of life and start getting really laser focused on what it is that we're trying to do. Because until you get laser focused and until you maintain that focus and until you increase your endurance to hold steadfast to that focus, you're going to keep getting thrown off track because you're constantly looking over here, right? You're constantly looking at that. You're constantly focused on the fact that, you know, you're not where you want to be financially, or you're not where you want to be in your career, or you're not where you want to be in your relationships, in your love life, or with your health, right? If you keep focusing on that, then that's what you're going to continue to magnify. So you have to start focusing on and shifting it on your future, right? On the vision. And you hear people say all the time, you know, well, you can't live in your future. And I choose to kind of disagree with that, because I think that yes, you can be present and you can enjoy the present moment, but you have to be able to shift into the future, to visualize and to continue to keep your vision in front of your face and where you want to go. That's the whole point of having a vision. Right? I mean, even in the Bible it says, you know, people, I won't say this exactly right, but, you know, the people without a vision will perish. And so if you're constantly just only focused on the circumstances that are in front of you and the crap that's going on around you and the world that we live in, and this person's doing this person's saying that, and oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to make it. If that's going to be your continual focus, then that's all you're ever going to get. Right? So you need to be who it is that you need to embody and be the person that gets or that has what it is that you want. You got to show up every single day and do the work even when you don't feel like it. And you have to gain the knowledge, and you've got to be willing to focus all of your energy around what it is you're trying to accomplish. All right. And then and I said this already, you've got to be future focused, right? Stay, of course, in the present, enjoy the present, but you also have to be focused on the future and where it is that you're trying to get to, right? And, you know, that's something that when it's late at night and I'm tired and I really just want to give up trying to figure out, you know, the technical side of business, or trying to figure out, you know, like how to get my message out there more, I immediately shift my thoughts to where I'm going to be. All right, I'm back. All right, I'll make this quick. You got to constantly shift your focus to what it is that you want, right? And that's what I find myself doing when I find those times when I just feel like I can't do anymore. I start thinking about my future. I start visualizing my future. I start thinking about what I want, writing down what I want, and visualizing, right? So I'm going to go back in when this is done, you guys, and I'm going to put these notes in this live stream for you so you can see them. But one last thing, you guys, Breakthrough Bootcamp the registration is open and in full effect. If you have not taken the opportunity to click on the link and read about Breakthrough Bootcamp, you are so missing out, right? It's my latest and greatest 6-week program where I will mentor you through 6 weeks to take you to a place of your breakthrough, right? This is for the woman who is ambitious, who's driven, who's ready to lean into life, who's ready to say, you know what, enough is enough. I need to figure out what I need to do to get my breakthrough. We're going to dig into that over the course of 6 weeks, you guys. 6 weeks. There are bonuses, awesome bonuses that I'm including with this. You're going to get my 7-step morning manifestation guidebook. You're going to get my 5-day challenge from resistance to reality. And there's a couple other bonuses I'm going to throw in there too that I'm not going to say, but they're going to be coming down the line. So you definitely want to get in, right? If you are looking for a way to figure out how to elevate your life, how to get clear and focused and around what it is you want. If you're trying to figure out, you know, how do I get what I want? If you're trying to figure out how you deal with the roadblocks that come up for you within yourself to try to figure out your resistance and what's holding you back, then you want to be in this boot camp, because we're going to cover all of that in detail. And if you commit yourself to it, if you do the work, you will see a shift and you will have breakthroughs and aha moments, and you're going to get it, right? And so it's 6 weeks. You'll be in a private Facebook group with me and with other women that are there. This is not just for entrepreneurs or business owners. It's for any woman out there who is ready to say yes to themselves and ready to lean into their life and start making a difference, and who are ready to start doing life different, right? So I'm going to leave the link in this video. If you have questions, please send me a message. People are reaching out to me and they're asking me questions, and I'm able to answer them right then and there. And people are interested and people are signing up. So you definitely want to get in on this. All right. We kick it off on March 6th. So yeah. So I will talk with you later. I'm back. So I will talk with you later. Have a blessed day. And remember that your best life yet is just on the other side of yes. Talk to you soon. Bye.